You're now tuned into Mic Check Waifu. Hello and tell, is that you?
Mic check. Mic check waifu. Damn. Is that you?
Polo. Echo. What's up?
This is episode 156 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Loot Complex. Make sure you go over to our friends at lootcomplex.com. Use that offer code waifu to save on your entire cart. Also, go by don'ttalkshop.com. And it doesn't even look like I'm sponsored by either today because I'm rocking full Ilthy gear. So go to ilthy.com. ILTHY. Not a sponsor yet.
Love some Ilthy though.
Yeah, definitely love some Ilthy. Shout out to Ilthy. This is Mic Check Waifu, the anime podcast brought to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. EST. We discussed seasonal shows and topics brought to you from them. Today we're going to be discussing our rewatch of Overlord. But before we do that, let's thank our overlords. There you go. Our Patreon producers, AB, Aaron Brown, Dre, the GOAT G, Johnny from Analytical Podcast, where shit get critical, Ked the Pro, Explicitly, Monique Williams, and Nachi. Thank you so much for producing this and many other episodes of the podcast. We appreciate y'all so very much for producing this. Jean. Very big episode. Very exciting episode. I'm giddy about it. Like I've been giddy about it all fucking week. Not even gonna hold you. It was about what day was that? Was that like Wednesday? Was that the day after we finished? The day after. No, it was the day. It was Monday.
It was like Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah,
so
it was quick.
Yeah, so the episode that the day that the episode last week released, I finished Overlord. So, because again, we record on Sundays and then drop the episodes on Tuesdays. I finished season 1, and we're gonna talk about that a lot later as the main topic of the show. But Montel, how you feeling this week?
Man, I'm real good, bro. I'm good. I got a lot of sleep yesterday.
That's what I like to hear.
A lot of sleep. So you need sleep for your muscle recovery. And y'all know I've been working out for the last few years.
It's your job.
Right, it's my job. But yeah, I haven't been getting as much sleep, so my progress has been less than normal. So last month, let's not say last month. In March, I lost some muscle mass, but I lost fat, right? Because I've been kind of doing like this dirty bulking thing. Now I'm kind of going a little bit cleaner. And then May, I lost like 2% body fat, almost 3%, but it was clean. And it was, it was way better. And that's when I had gotten back to my regular schedule, trying to get my sleep together. But it's only supposed to go up once I actually get my sleep right. So I'm good, bro. It's been a good week. How about you? How you feeling?
Yeah, well rested myself. Like I said, extremely giddy about this episode. Looking forward to it. I've been looking forward to it fucking all week. There's something I wanted to ask you though. Before we get into the anime stuff, the anime of it all, this is an anime podcast, as always. But we got to start off with a little bit of banter about something a little off topic. Now, I want to save a full video game topic about the summer showcase and all that other stuff for After Story, the Patreon exclusive podcast that you can get exclusively on patreon.com/miccheckwaifu. So I'm not going to go into full video game talk, but I have to ask my brother, what do you think about Sonic Frontiers? Because I know you've seen the gameplay of that.
So you already know I'm a huge Sonic fan. It's jarring for me. Yeah. I love like the aesthetic of it visually, right? And there's some things I think about that are actually really, really cool. But what I find out of place is like the rails and the bounce pads and stuff like that. And the speed boost pads. That seems wildly out of place in this world, and I wish that they had done it a little bit differently. Like if they were going to give us rails, they should have made them like trees, or if they were going to give us bounce pads, they should have made them mushrooms, something that just feel more organic to where we are. Because they feel like they just put a bunch of Sonic stuff in like Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. But I love the concept of the game, and I saw the gameplay of them doing like the time races where you run from one side of the island to like the other side. And I thought that was dope, especially because with the concept of you don't have any guidance to get there. Yeah. You got to make your own path and find the fastest route for you. Sure. And I thought that was dope because that's kind of like a concept of what Sonic games should be like. In every Sonic game since the first one, there's multiple paths to get to the end. You just gotta try and find the quickest. So now it's like you actually scouting it out and making it yourself. So that's cool. I'm worried about it though.
Yeah, I think I am too. The reason why I brought it up is because we talked about it maybe a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week too. I'm not sure. It was a couple of weeks ago. But when we discussed it, I was just thinking like, man, I feel like this Frontier shit is their last opportunity, and it just looks awful. To me, it looks terrible. Like, it looks fucking god awful. Like, they had the ground popping in. They had every time he almost went fast. Go figure, it's a Sonic game. The times everywhere he almost went fast, literally the game just looked like it was dying. It was struggling. Like, it was having a hard time even just keeping above 30 frames per second, which is awful because this is next gen consoles. Come on, like, we're doing crazy shit now. Like, we're not about to be worried about Sonic going slightly faster than normal. And it's chugging. It looked awful. What I listened to a podcast, I forget the video game podcast that this came from, but they said it looks like a fan made a Unreal Engine 5 world and just plop Sonic in it, and it's like one of those demos that like just a solo dude created and said, "Oh, look, this is what a Sonic game could be like if it was open world." It looked like that, and it looks just like that. I don't know if you've seen it, but there was people creating, like, when Unreal Engine 5 officially released, it was people creating like Spider-Man in Unreal Engine 5, and it looked sick. Obviously, it wasn't a proper game. It looked like
it wasn't clean.
It wasn't clean, exactly, and that's exactly how this looks.
Here's my overall perspective of it, right? Even though I know we're on the next gen consoles right now, right? I almost feel like the what they're going for, this game has to almost be entirely PC based.
Nah,
because there's no way for the current consoles to be strong enough to support what they're trying to do.
Absolutely wrong. Them consoles,
you think these consoles strong enough to do this?
$1,000,000,000%. This should be nothing to those. This should be nothing. Even a PS4 can run this shit. Should be able to run this shit with the way it looks. These next gen consoles are probably just equal to my computer. My computer was $3,500. Like, these consoles are legit now. There's no fucking way that game, with the way it looked and the way it ran, should have ran like that. Like, no chance in hell. No chance. It's crazy how bad it was running. Like, it's unbelievably bad. And that goes to show the game I wanted to quickly touch on was looking like fucking like Starfield. Yes, it was framey. It's a Bethesda game. Of course, it looks framey. But Starfield has some shit in it that looks so fucking good. I was blown away. I'm like, what's going on here? Starfield looks amazing.
It's Bethesda.
I mean, but they haven't been on the up and up lately.
I mean, so
their last
they
W
release a game every 8 years.
Their last W was Skyrim. So
yeah, and
they had Fallout 4, which is trash. Well, it wasn't.
And a lot of people's opinion, Oblivion was better than that.
Exactly, it's true.
And before that, they was torn on Morrowind because Morrowind had they say a better arena.
Morrowind popped off, but yeah, it literally just it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. We'll talk about that in the game in the game talk of After Story, because that we got to go into that in grave detail about all the shit that got going on in that.
I did have a little bit of a little game that I want to talk about too, and it was just interesting to me. I was wondering your perspective on this. They drop Diablo Immortals and then give us gameplay for Diablo 4.
Yeah.
But Diablo 4 doesn't look bad. Diablo 4 looks like
incredible.
A game I would love to play. And while Immortals is cool and all, I looked at Diablo 4 and I said,
So the problem with Diablo Immortal is it's developed by NetEase. I don't know if you're hip to who NetEase is. NetEase is an Eastern company. They do mostly gacha games and games that bring in a shit ton of money. Okay, so they developed Diablo Immortal. Diablo Immortal is a fucking fantastic. Like, it plays extremely well on both PC and phone. Like, I love the way they both play. But the monetization is so Eastern, it's so Asian that it is a big ass turnoff. Like, I don't want to play it for too long because I'm tired of fucking pop-ups saying, buy this now for 800% discount. I'm so sick of that shit. I don't want that shit slammed in my face constantly. Discount. They do. They got shit in there that's like, hey, you can get this for 99 cents. That's an 800% discount. I'm like, bro, but what is the original? You create the prices. So you're artificially creating this price discount. And when we don't even know what the fucking original price, the original price was $4.99. Now it's $1. Like, it's so fucking irritating. And I was so sick of that shit popping up. I stopped playing, even though I was having so much fun. I had to. Okay, this is an anime podcast, I promise. We got a lot of anime stuff to talk about. First, what was your episode of the week this week?
I don't know.
Summertime rendering. I'm gonna just say it. It's impossible. We can't hold off any longer. This episode was so fire.
I agree with that.
It was just too good, man. I know we try not to give it to Summertime Rendering every time, but this was impossible. This was episode 10, I think, of Summertime Rendering. It was impossible just not to give it to it.
It's a very enticing episode in general. Just the way they give us information is always amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
It was episode 9 of Summertime Rendering. Yeah, episode 9, crazy. It went so crazy. I can't wait to talk about that in the second half of the show as well. For this episode, for the second half of the show, we're going to spoil Summertime Rendering, episode 9, Spy Family. Wasn't really much to this one, but I did like this episode too.
It was another really good episode, yeah.
Yeah. It
was fun.
Yeah, we'll talk about episode 10 of Spy Family. And last but not least, episode 10 of Tomodachi Game. I do want to talk about that for sure. For sure. Because that was fucking strange. Very strange. And I got a what's the word I'm looking for?
Idea.
Yes. Of what is actually about to happen.
Yeah.
And it's about to be a big twist, quote unquote. Anyway. Stay tuned for that. That takes place after the break, after the song break. All right. Tell, man. Big time. We already been going for 12 minutes. God damn. We talking about games that long? I don't feel like it
wasn't that long.
It wasn't that long. All right. So the main topic of the show is, okay, let me just back up. For those of you that don't know, we are doing an Overlord rewatch of all 3 seasons up until Overlord 4. Overlord 4 drops in July sometime when the summer anime drops. Pretty much every summer anime drops in July. So we probably won't do our summer choices until I'm thinking maybe 2-3 weeks from now. 2 weeks, maybe.
Sound good.
Probably 2 weeks. Probably makes the most sense. We should probably do another episode where we create our top. What did we do? Top 5 list for the season with that scoring system we had.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, we do that next week. No, is that the last? Is everything ended next week?
The shorter shows are going to be hitting episode 11, 12. 11, episode 11 for most of them. I think only one right now is on episode 11.
Got you. Okay. And there's a couple Shikamori Not Just Cute that's on episode 8. Because they skipped a week. Okay. Yeah, a lot of shows are ending in 2 weeks, so we'll probably do that too. But yeah, we were doing the Overlord rewatch. We're gonna do a season a week starting last week. So the last week we watched season 1 of Overlord. Next week we're gonna watch season 2, and then week 3 we're gonna watch season 3. Yeah, we started off with Overlord season 1. So before we start off with our discussion on it, I did a little bit of digging on Overlord. So I'm just going to go over this little quick recap before we start the actual discussion. So season 1 aired July 7th, 2015 to September 29th, 2015. It was produced by Madhouse Studio, directed by Naoki Ito. It was 13 episodes that cover 3 volumes of the light novel up to chapter 14. The original story was a web novel created by Kugane Moriyami, which is crazy to even think about because it was a web novel that was basically fan fiction when it got popular. Funny enough, like it was just like he would take ideas from the audience and say, hey, what do you think so and so should die? Yes or no? That he would write it based off of that. So that was a really cool note that I got from researching this. But yeah, the story takes place in 2138 when virtual reality gaming is booming. Yggdrasil, a popular online game, is quietly shut down one day. It ran from 2126 AD to 2138 for about 12 years. Very interesting story. So what are your initial thoughts of Overlord season 1?
I feel like my first watch of it, I was very, very intrigued and enjoyed the watch a lot. My second rewatch of it, I feel like I'm more critical. But overall, if I'm being completely honest, I really don't have any complaints about it for the first season. I found a lot of it enjoyable. I think, yeah, it was something, I guess, I'm not going to say it was fresh, but it still felt, I'm going to say it still feels kind of fresh for what it is. It's different to the other ones that are like it, in terms of like the exposition that's given information, how things are carried out or done, all the way up until like the last moment of the show. It seems like very well thought out and methodic.
Yes. A few weeks ago, I think I talked about shows, and it was specifically about Spy Family, about the pacing and how sometimes the pacing can go so well that episodes end extremely quickly. For some reason, watching this show, every episode just felt like it was just 10 minutes long. And I'm just like, what? It's over? What? It's over? What? It's over? It was for me, the rewatch was even better than when I originally watched it. Like, it was, to me, way better. And the reason being is because looking at it from the quote unquote critical eye, I guess, this story is, again, so unbelievably unique to any other isekai that we've watched that I don't want to say too. I don't want to go into anything that I know from season 2 and season 3. I'm just going to try to avoid that completely. But from season 1, the knowledge of the world that we have is, again, what we talk about all the time, is the same as the main character. The main character knowing what he knows is what we know as the viewer, and that I can appreciate so much because it's just incredible. The way they try to, the way they establish Momonga's personality and how his personality can be literally suppressed due to his race in the game. Yggdrasil has thousands of races in that game, which is something that is already in itself really hard to write around. It has hundreds of classes, which can then be changed, like hundreds of class changes and mixes and matches. The game Yggdrasil is so detailed, and they briefly touched on it, and I kind of know a little bit more from just doing, like I said, the research I've done for this, but it's so detailed that the way they write around that with this show and explain everything was some of the most entertaining shit I've seen in an isekai, because they had to take 3 volumes, which is about 800 something pages, and condense it down to 13 episodes, which I feel like they did extremely well.
Job. Yeah.
Extremely well when it came to like the pacings and what the story covered and how it covered it. Like I felt like the way it transported us between different stories was also extremely special too. We would sit in the pocket here, and that pocket would be, you fall in love with this character, you like this character, for that character to just have a whole nother fucking just change up, or somebody coming in and fucking that whole dynamic up. It's special. It's a special show to me.
I think that one of the big differences from this watch through for me was that I watched from the perspective of like me thinking about being a gamer, right?
Yes.
Like I already know MMOs aren't necessarily my favorite game type in general, but I love a game where you have a lot of options in terms of creativity. I love when there is a bunch of different, like, let's say spells, magic, and I like the customability or customization to change and switch and whatnot, right?
Exactly.
And looking at how they kind of carry some of these things, that was really cool. One of the things that you actually reminded me of when you just said it is how there's thousands of races, right? And one of the things I just thought was cool, without going into too much detail, but I'm pretty sure whoever's listening, I hope y'all watched it with us. They talked about how humans can only make low level, undead.
Yep.
But then they said, well, we can go and use the lizard men and they will make stronger undead. And I was like, I necessarily didn't even think or catch that the first time I watched it. Yeah. That was specifically why they avoided, doing the humans. Not because Momonga or Ainz Al Gun loved humans that much, because he told us in the beginning he necessarily doesn't feel anything for them in his current state because he is a skeleton. So
right.
that his emotions for humans are suppressed at the moment. But I thought that was a cool concept, because now we know, depending on what he uses or what he goes after, it can create a different desired effect.
Right.
And that's just that's just kind of going off, piggybacking off what you said, that the ability that the author showed to write around the concepts that he created is crazy. It's great.
He built Yggdrasil first and then worked his way around that, which is always genius writing, in my personal opinion. Like, if you build the world first and then build your characters around that world, you're going to have a successful show, manga, web novel, whatever you want to call it. Because I think you care so much about the world that anything that the character does in it has to make sense. And because of that, it's above all else in storytelling. So for those of you that don't know, again, as I said in like the brief synopsis, is Overlord takes place, well, it was taking place in a game called Yggdrasil. It starts off with our character. His name is Momonga, but he changes his name throughout the show to Ainz Al Gun. It starts off with him in Yggdrasil. Yggdrasil is on its last day of the server being live. So if you're familiar with MMOs, from time to time, MMOs shut down from, long cycles of gameplay, i.e. this one being 12 years. This was live for 12 years. Him and his friends created a guild called the Great Tomb of Nazarick. The guild was actually called, I think the guild was called Ainz Al Gun. Yeah, the guild was named Ainz Al Gun. They had what's like a player housing situation where it was called the Great Tomb of Nazarick, and that's basically their guild house. Guild house being like their clubhouse where all the guild members or clan mates would go and hang out. It was 41 members inside of this guild. This guild was basically made up of undead and inhuman monsters, quote unquote, or players that had to find a place to call home, because in the game of Yggdrasil, so fucking cool. If y'all don't know, I'm a big MMO fan. I Twitch stream MMOs. That's literally my career. But in Yggdrasil, human player characters can PvP, which is player versus player, kill inhuman players without any penalties. So let's say, for example, if I'm a player, like I'm a human, my class is a human character, and Tell's class is a human class character. If Tell kills me, he gets punished for killing me, which then means his gear goes down or his level goes down or whatever. And this, in particular, in Yggdrasil, if you're an inhuman, so if you're a skeleton, zombie, any other type of monster character, human players can kill you, not take any punishment. They can kill you.
Dope, by the way.
Yeah, they can kill you, take your loot, take your gear, all that shit. So what the guild Ainz Al Gun did was create this place, this safe haven for all non-human characters to go and feel welcome. Now, Ainz Al Gun became one of the biggest guilds in Yggdrasil. They were like ranked number 8 in the entire video game of Yggdrasil. They were like top shit. They were extremely powerful. Their main members, I think their main members were made up, I believe, of 5 or 6 main components or main characters that end up being like the close friend group of people, essentially, that created these NPCs, which are non-player characters, as servants to serve them and help protect the Great Tomb of Nazarick, which is their guild house. These servants are they're called guardians, which they guard certain floors of the tomb to stop the player characters from invading their tomb to try to take these world-class items that Ygdrasil and kept inside of the Great Tomb of Nazarick. It's so fucking deep. it goes so deep. So excuse me if I'm talking too much, but to get the context of the show, you have to understand this part of the show itself. If you're watching it with us, you already know this, but I just get so giddy with talking about it because it's so fucking creative. Essentially, at the end of the life cycle of the game, Ygdrasil is sitting. The game has been running for 12 years. Momonga, which is who becomes Ygdrasil, he sits in the game where he still played consistently while all his other friends grew older. They grew older, they had families, they had jobs, they had work. They slowly stopped playing Yggdrasil. So with the 12th year of Yggdrasil, when it's about to shut down, he asked his guildmates, hey, let's come hang out in the Great Tomb of Nazarick for one last time before the game shuts down. Only a couple of them showed up. And the show starts off with him talking to one of the guys, one of his last, I guess you can call him like best gaming friends. Just talking about or reminiscing about what they did in Yggdrasil. And they're basically just discussing it and saying like, look, like I haven't played in so long and it's great to see that you still keeping the guild house going, or you kept the guild house going and kept it as strong as it is.
Right.
And he says, hopefully we can meet in real life and we can hang out or whatever. And Momonga's just like, yeah, real life, whatever. He's like basically like, fuck real life. I'm dedicated to Yggdrasil for life. And then the guy logs out and he's the only one left in the Great Tomb of Nazarick. He's left with all the NPC characters, which are the guardians. And he's basically sitting there staring at him like, hey, this is the last time I'm gonna be with you guys, so let's spend this time together. And as the clock ticks down, you can watch the clock, it hits midnight. When it hits midnight, the servers are supposed to be shut down. Or you could say the servers did shut down. When they shut down, our boy Momonga is still in the game.
Hey.
He's like, hello? Tries to log out, tries to bring up any screen, tries to reach the GMs, tries to message anybody. He can't. He's basically in the game now. And from there, that's where this story takes off. The fucking story literally takes off. It takes off from like you being slowly introduced to the floor guardians and him trying to understand the situation that's going on. Him talking to the guardians. What's so fucking cool about this show, and specifically the dub version of the show, well, both versions of the show do the same thing, but I think the dub is just so fucking good when it comes to its main cast of characters, i.e. Ygdrasil or Momonga and the floor guardians. His character has a completely different voice, which is voiced by the same voice actor, by the way, which is Chris Guerrero. Fucking incredible voice for Momonga. Like the skeleton, like he feels fucking menacing with his voice. It's so good.
I'm not sure if it is, but I believe it is. I think this is my first time watching this dubbed. And going in initially, I was like, I'm not sure about this. But literally 5 minutes in, I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. this is okay. Like I don't have any problems with like the main voice acting cast. Like
right.
The main voice acting cast is great, and even like the side voice actors and whatnot, like they weren't horrible. The only voice I think I didn't like was the thief girl.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
I think she the only one.
And for me, the only one was the village girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, she just sounds like she's reading. It just sounded off.
Oh, like she was a new voice actor?
Yeah, like she was brand new at this shit. I mean, I heard her voice before, but it never sounded this. Well, I guess it was 2015. Maybe that was her first role. I have no idea. But like it was it was bad. But people like, Brain, he sounded cool. Fucking Master Geoff is his name. I think his name is this. Geoff or something like that. Yeah, I think Geoff is his name. Yeah. He sounded fucking incredible. He was a great voice actor I've heard in plenty of other things. It was a lot of like
Albedo sound great.
Oh my god, Albedo was fucking amazing. She was incredible. Shoutier was great. She's always fucking fantastic in anything she plays in.
I know it's probably not everybody else's favorite, but the big carapace looking bug dude, I love his voice.
Which one is that one?
The blue dude who looked like a samurai, but he's a him.
Cocytus,
I love his voice.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's like he's so like proper, but also like
menacing too.
When he said that shit, I'm gonna be uncle. I was like, I'm like, okay, this is great. This is great.
Was okay. So let's get into what didn't you like about Overlord season 1?
I mean, I'll be honest. I can't really pinpoint anything. Like I was trying to be more critical. I was trying to be more analytical in general when I was watching this, right? And there's nothing I looked at and I said I hate this specifically. Like I said, I didn't like that one voice actor, but it was just because of how her voice played out. Mm-hmm. But the other characters, their motivations, how things kind of played out in general, nah, I was cool with that.
Yeah,
I was cool with that.
Because what Overlord is him being in his world, and mind you, the Great Tomb of Nazarick, which is the guild house, literally was teleported. It wasn't just that Ainzulgon or Momonga was stuck inside of Yggdrasil, because when he walked out of the tomb, it was a whole nother world that he's never even seen before.
Right.
Like not in Yggdrasil, not anywhere. So what the story is essentially doing is it's creating this line of what do we do if Momonga, me being a player, stuck in a world that is not Yggdrasil, but I have the Great Tomb of Nazarick here, and he just goes through giving orders and shit to everybody. And I think the way that plays out, the moves he make, the moves his floor guardians make, and their personalities so unique. I think there is I don't think there's anything wrong with the story whatsoever. I think what we could have gotten is a little bit more, I guess, explanation into who the floor guardians are, like a deeper dive into Cocytus and a deeper dive into Demiurge and a deeper dive into Albedo.
And I will say, as a counter to what you just said, they haven't necessarily opened that up yet. Only for the fact of like, because they did open up a little bit when we got to that point to where he was like getting the world items or the weapons and stuff from the past guild members, where we could have had time to really go into like the creators and how they made them and stuff like that. But I think that it's also based on that concept that we love so much, that we don't know until the character knows.
But the character knows, though. That's the problem. Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is like, and he knows that these characters, like the NPCs, were made, right? And that who made them.
And the personalities
he doesn't necessarily know. Yeah, but I don't think he necessarily knows 100% like the full process as to each one being made. I know he knows like the personality and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna push back because he do know. He does know, because even at the beginning of episode 1, he edited Albedo's NPC bio, so he knows. And even throughout the episodes, they slowly kind of dive into he's made just like Cocytus. He's made like Sebia, the butler. Sebis. Yeah. Sebis. We got there. Sebis was created by this fucking hero-esque inhuman dude, dragon, basically. And like he slowly starts to flash back to his old friends and how they used to act when they were in the guild together, to see how their personality was. He acts just like this. He even says like, I know that the creators created y'all with a little piece of them inside of it. Like he goes into it. I just wish we would have dove a little bit more into their powers, is what I mean. Like,
yeah. And because their powers is one thing that I love the most about this show.
Yes.
Is the fact that like these guardians, they're actually kind of on par with Ainz or Momonga, right? Like the only thing that really, really separates him from like their level is his like knowledge of the gaming world, right?
Yep.
Like, so he comes up with a strategy because he knows, in the cash app, but he knows like their weaknesses and everything, and they know his. but he's got strategy around gaming that makes him just that much harder to beat.
Yes.
So it's actually kind of really dope. It's really dope because he knows what a PvP is like. He knows what the battle is like.
Yep.
So that's just a cool concept to bring into it, because the fact that they are as strong as him or can mortally wound him if they really needed to, just puts like that into a better perspective, that there's clearly going to be people out there who are as strong, if not stronger, and he just has to outsmart them. So it's not just showing that Overlord is massively, ridiculously powerful. He's actually not stupid either, you know?
Yeah, very true. Very well said. Yeah, it's so fucking good. It's so fucking good. So the story is basically them trying to establish what the hell is this world about. From political aspects to the way, you know, the lowly adventurers operate. So, you know, Ainz created a whole nother character called Momont, who is an actual hero, and Overlord being the Overlord, like the undead, essentially evil. We could just call it that, even though we haven't really got to see his evil schemes yet, not until later. Again, I'm not going to touch on later seasons, but but he's learning different ways of how the world operate, and the way he's like, the way he sees the world after his first encounter with the humans or whatever in that little village, what was it, Karn village. He says, okay, they're pretty weak, so he basically sends out his guardians to do investigations and shit. And what happens is one of his top guardians, the floor guardian, the floor 1 through 3, which is Shalltear Bloodfallen, which is the fucking vampire. She ended up getting, and I'm gonna just kind of speed through this, but she ended up getting mind controlled. She's mind controlled, and it blows fucking Ainz mind. He's like, yo, what the fuck? This is a level 100 floor guardian that my people created, which I've already known happen to be some of the strongest fuckers in this game, in this world.
And the mind control didn't 100% work either.
Exactly. At least that's what I thought. I thought we were the strongest in the world. Come to find out, the only thing that should have been able to mind control her was a world class item, which are, you know, basically the strongest type of items you can use in Yggdrasil to control what the guardians are. Like, they're just that strong. They're all like level 100 maxed out fucking beasts. So with that happen, that basically wraps up season 1. He has to fight Shalltear Bloodfallen, and that fight, bro, oh my god, shit was so fucking cool, man.
And one of the parts that had me hyped though was like before the fight, he walks up and he says like body of a bulging barrel, and he starts casting all these buff spells. I'm just like, let's go. He was like, I'm gonna use this time, man. He was like, yo, it's just like any other boss, you know, it won't aggro until you actually, you know, attempt to attack it or whatever.
Yep.
I'm like,
we call that
this feels good. Yep, it feels good.
It's fucking amazing, man. To just see him do all this video game shit and learn about it. It's so crazy how he discussed, or how he figures out, like, casting the spell just became so natural to him once he casted that first spell. Once he ripped out the heart of that fucking guard in like episode 3 or something like that. It's so crazy. It's so good.
But in the same time, using sword skills and whatnot was still relatively difficult for him. Yes, he could be a strong warrior,
right? But
he wasn't really a strong warrior. If he was fighting like one of his friends who's a warrior, he probably got body bags
straight up.
But because he, because he has the knowledge and whatnot and the overwhelming stats, he can still pull some stuff off.
Exactly. Momont is amazing. So to get into some small little things, who was your favorite guardian? Momonga or Ainz excluded?
I've always been a Demiurge fan, but it's not this season that makes me like Demiurge.
Okay. Can't talk about that. Just this season 1. Yeah.
Season 1. If I had to go specifically off season 1, I don't know, because I feel like the Guardians just get better as the seasons go on. Right now, it's Shalltear, because
she was fire.
She did her thing. She did her fucking thing, bro. And she popped off on Momonga. She popped off on Ainz. That was hard. I was like, let's go.
Yeah, for me, man, This is a tough one. Damn, that's not until later either. Fuck.
Yeah, I'm trying to go based off the opinions of this season. If it's just the opinions of this season, you know, you got options, but like they're not as many.
Yeah, definitely not as many. I'm gonna go with I'll go with Albedo.
Good choice.
I like Albedo only for her just her brazenness, right? She's like you filthy human, don't you dare casually talk to Momonga that way, or Ainz. He was Ainz at that time.
And that's what makes it beautiful, because it's not just brazen, it's the defense of her lord, right?
The loyalty.
No one, I don't care if you another guardian. Yep. I don't care if you God, the supreme beings that made us are gonna get the bare minimum respect, and that's for you to bow your head and get on your knees. Is basically what she said.
And with her being the leader of the Guardians, you can only imagine at this time in season 1, with her being the leader of the Guardians, with what you see from Shautir, from the little bit you see from Demiurge, the little bit you see from Mare and his sister, yeah, and Sabbath, yeah, like. These fuckers are so fucking strong. They're so strong. Imagine how Albedo is when she pop off.
A demon.
To be fair, in season 2, I said I wasn't gonna do this, but in season 2 and season 3, we don't really get to see her pop off. So it's like,
it's because they waiting for it. You know, it's got to be held on to, bro.
Man, listen.
Once it happens, and I hate to say it, but. When Albedo gets her time to shine,
oh my god,
it's either gonna be against Ainz, and I don't think they're gonna do it. But it's either that, or it's like she's gonna take over and do some shit, and we're gonna be like, well, Ainz can just go home and relax. What you doing? This ain't your show no more, bro. Yeah. She the overlord.
What's so fucking cool about this, right? And we talked about this last week. Is it's not just moments in Overlord. It's the entirety. It's the journey of Overlord that is so fucking good, man. From the moment he enters the world to learning how the Guardians operate, right? Like he's in the Great Tomb of Nans, like, yo, like, who are y'all loyal to? He's asking these questions because in his mind he's thinking, I'm like, okay, so they're sentient now, so I have to make sure that I have their loyalty, and I have to make sure I play this role of the great fucking Ainz Ul Gon, because I'm taking the name of the guild on myself. And it's just like, from him learning about this new world, like operating the Great Tomb and controlling the Guardians, and the Guardians is moving on their own, and just the maneuverability of this character, and the way his even, what do they call it, shadow maids or some shit like that. The maids are fucking doing shit that are like very important, and they're unique, and oh god, it's so fucking good. The journey is so good. What's up?
I pose this question to you.
What you got?
If you were put in this scenario, do you think you would have did the same thing Ainz did, or would you do you think that like you and I'm saying, like, do you think you would have thought of exactly how he kind of carried out some of this process? Because I know you know your MMOs, right? So like, if you got stuck in BDO,
don't do me like that.
If you got stuck in BDO,
I'll die of boredom.
And in that world, and you wake up and it's a whole fresh world, what's your first move, bro? Is it exactly kind of how I did it? Let's
just say I'm in Yggdrasil. I guess that's why the story is so fucking good for season 1 is I would have moved exactly how he moved. I would, knowing that I'm this powerful, right? Knowing that I got these guardians at my side and these shadow maids when I'm Momai, and just all this shit at my disposal, I'm doing exactly what he's doing to try to figure out if Legal's there, or if you are there, or if anybody else from my guild is in this world, to try to figure that out. And again, the way the season folds out with fucking Shautir just on a normal mission, she's doing what she got to do to figure out, what she can figure out. I forgot what her, maybe that's one flaw I would say. I don't know exactly the mission Shautir was on. That was never made clear. I know it Sebas was on.
Yeah, she was supposed to clear out the humans, and Sebas was supposed to gather information.
Clear out the humans for what, though?
I'm not exactly sure why either.
Yeah, it didn't really make sense. I think that was a part. It seemed like it was a part of that was cut out. Like it was like just a skip scene, because it seems like they established that she was doing a specific mission to hunt down humans, but for what specific purpose, right? Like it was to find a strong. I think it was to find a strong.
Oh yeah, it was to find a martial artist. That's what it was. So he could learn martial arts skills from him. That's what it was.
To see if he can. Yep, that's it. Okay, so we got there. Maybe that's not a bad thing, but that was her goal, to find somebody strong to capture, so they can see if they can learn martial arts. That's perfect. Okay, because that's why she was chasing after Brain. Brain got away because other adventurers came through.
He was horrified.
True. He was terrified. Other adventurers came through and decide to try to help. But Shoutier comes across what I believe might be a player. That other guild might be some player from, I think they were from the fucking, what was that place called? Slain and Thocracy or some shit like that. They were from there. Them motherfuckers was powerful though.
Well, and so hear me out. I don't necessarily think that's another player. And the reason I say it is because I think that, so the concept is that we don't know if there are other players for sure yet, right? We can only assume that there might be at least one or two others. But also the fact that the world items are still world items, right?
Yes.
Like we would imagine that some of those are still held within like the world, and even though we're not in Yggdrasil, that there might be different world items that are not to Momonga's knowledge or Ain Zalgun's knowledge. So I don't necessarily think that that's another player, but that the world has developed to a point to where they have their own items, or they can get world-class items.
You know what I'm thinking? And this is me having no knowledge of, like, even if you look at other seasons later, it has no relevance. What my think is that I think this is Yggdrasil, or this was Yggdrasil, and then thousands of years or hundreds of years or something like that passed. Shit got changed, world changed up or something like that, and lost history. Yeah, exactly. And I think they hint at that in this, when the old lady was, I can't remember if that was season 1 or season 2. Fuck. I don't want to go into it because I'm not sure.
That's not this season.
Okay. So yeah, never mind then. I'll save that for our next week discussion. But I think that's a good place to call it for season 1 of Overlord. Overall thoughts, Overlord to me, it still is. It doesn't like it. It's top tier fucking isekai, bro. Like 2015, this came out, and you can see all the influences that other anime from Misfit Demon King Academy to other shit taking influences from this. Skeleton Knight King. There's just so much shit I feel like are just trying to do what this did, and nothing has done it yet.
Yeah, and my overall thoughts, I'm gonna say it's a fun and clever series. Like,
very, very so.
Like it's fun because, like we talked about, fresh. It is. It's still fresh, even like in a realm that's becoming more and more saturated. It's still fresh and has its own like presence within this, right? Like nothing really feels quite like Overlord.
Yes.
At least from what I've seen. Polo might have seen something that feel like Overlord, but nothing really feels quite like Overlord. But then it's smart still. You know, it's witty and it's solving the problems before we even necessarily see them solved, but then we get that answer, and it's dope. I love that.
It's isekai of the villain's perspective. No better way to put it. Like, these are fucking villains, and it's fucking so much fun to watch them maneuver. Even I wish it was more. I wish there were like 24s, you know.
24 episodes.
Yeah, because I feel like there's slight world building that's cut out, or no, because the world building is still integrated so well that we're learning as he learns. So I don't know, maybe not. Yeah,
there's just been too much time.
Yeah, true. Next week we're going to do this discussion with season 2. Season 2, we don't have to discuss, the beginning of the world, everything like that. So it's going to be a lot more into the story, into the weeds of Overlord.
Hey, yo, fun fact, real quick.
Yeah,
I just looked up Overlord on AniList. When I rated it, I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Yes.
So I ain't know. I was like, I think I really like this series.
Yeah, you was already down for it, and I was too, man. I didn't rate it though. I should have, but no, I do believe a 9 is sufficient for season 1 itself. I mean, the animation isn't that great. In a lot of instances, as far as like the 3D spots, like you could tell it was 2015. It
definitely wasn't the worst 3D we've seen, even for newer anime. And
that's exactly what I mean. It was. You could tell it was a 2015 ass anime where they were doing that CGI shit more. Madhouse isn't bad. Madhouse isn't a bad studio. They never. I should have done this with my earlier research, but let's see what else did Madhouse produce? Because I'm very curious. Outside of Overlord. Oh, and for the Ace, Nobody's Boy, Treasure Island. What the fuck? Oh, damn! That's like the old 1978 Treasure Island.
Man, they did something else too.
They got a lot of shit, bro.
Some big stuff recently.
They got. Let's go to their more.
Are they doing Chainsaw Man?
No. That's Mappa.
Yeah, my bad.
They did Death Note. Oh, they did the Death Note specials.
They did Taco P Destiny, which looked really good.
Damn, they've been around a very long time, since the 70s. That's crazy. I never knew that. Damn, Mal's been around like that. They did High School of the Dead in 2010. That's the Tommy Galaxy that my Moody tried to get me to watch that I couldn't watch it. The subtitles were crazy. They did Devil May Cry animated series. They did Death Parade, yeah. Killed that shit.
A regular at Magical High School.
Ooh, Heat.
No Game, No Life.
Heat.
Which I love their visuals. They did Parasite the Maxim.
Trigun, 1998.
They went hard in 2014. Sheesh.
Yo, Madhouse is lightweight legends, man. Madhouse Studios lightweight legends.
They did Hajime no Ippo.
Crazy, man. Crazy. They're real good. They're really, really good. All right. Let's get to know my check waifu. Thank y'all for rocking with us for that season 1 of Overlord. Make sure y'all watch season 2 of Overlord during this week. Share your thoughts with season 2. Let us know what you thought. Even season 1. Share your thoughts with us on Twitter at Mike Check Waifu. And on Instagram at Mike Check Waifu. You could DM us, or if your tweet's too long, you could DM us and we'll share it on the show. All right, let's get to know Mike Check Waifu. This is part of the podcast. One of us rolls a random number generator. The other reads a question associated with that number. And it's Tell's turn to roll the random number generator. My turn to read the question.
Number 22.
I feel like whatever. If you had an anime warning label, what would it say?
Hold on, what was you about to say? What was you about to say?
I was about to say I feel like I read the question last week too, but I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah, no, I read the question last week.
Oh, okay.
All right. Polo's anime warning label.
Why I gotta be mine? What about yours?
Oh no, what's my anime warning label?
So if you had to say, let's say Auntie Shushu was like, I'm about to watch anime, what's the warning label you would say to her?
Beware of nipples, I guess. I wouldn't tell her that, but that's what the warning label is. Yeah,
that's a good one.
Sometimes I just pop up.
That's a very good one, actually.
It's not intentional.
If I had to tell my mama a warning label on anime, I would say like, hey man, they get a little weird with the female's shape.
Nah, it's Polo's is breaking case of tears.
Oh, you
Because he gonna have you on that bullshit. How you crying?
You will
I swear,
cry. Get the
The
tissues
first
ready.
slice of life I remember watching outside of Hamtaro.
That's
Was like
supernatural.
You're lying, April, and it almost got me, bro. It almost got me.
Demon
And
level.
then I took that stroll down Clannad.
Oh,
Then watched Steins Gate. This dude Polo is horrible with anime recommendations, bro.
you mean great?
Yeah, I mean it's great, but it's horrible.
Those are all great.
Heart not intact no more.
Brain
Going
is,
through some trauma now.
yes. Warning. My warning, traumatizing. I guess there it is. There's my warning label. When we come back, we got a few things to spoil, including Spy Family episode 9, 10. Just that fast, I forget. Crazy. We're going to spoil episode 10 of Spy Family, episode 9 of Summertime Rendering, and episode 10 of Tamagotchi Game. We'll be right back after these. And welcome back to episode 156 of Mic Check Waifu. Polo here. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Polo Bornfly, at King Teliano, at Mic Check Waifu. We go spoil some Spy Family now. Spy Family had a very adorable episode.
It's always adorable though, right?
Yeah, it's never not. Yeah, it's never not. What can I say about this episode?
The biggest thing that I always love about, like, especially like this kind of episode, right? Because although it wasn't super like family centric, it followed the actions of Anya. was always cool is still like we got that moment of family interaction, like when she was learning how to play dodgeball and stuff like that, like the outdoor activities, indoor activities, those kind of things. Lloyd's face, those kind of things. It was fun. It was cool. Like you said, it was adorable. And then everything Anya did, like she didn't even take full she didn't take center stage the whole time, right?
Yeah.
We got to see all the side characters, you know, how they experiences. And then all the call outs and stuff they did in this episode too, bro. Adorable. They had a Dragon Ball scene. They had a Hunter x Hunter scene.
Yeah. It was extremely just cool to watch. Like, I'm just chilling watching it, and I just got this fucking goofy ass smile on my face. I'm just sitting like, yeah, this is cool. This is cool. Every time I watch the show, it's the same thing. It's like it never not makes me feel that way. It wasn't, to me personally, this wasn't any. It didn't stand out as much. I still fucking love yours, absolutely incredible. But like, I just wasn't like, I didn't feel the progression of the main story. Yeah,
it felt like a
break,
what they call a filler, fun episode.
Yes, and I'm okay with that. From time to time, we need that. Would I have preferred us to you know, get a little bit further? Yeah, only because it's 2 more episodes in this core, and then we move on to the second core, which takes place, I think, next year, the beginning of winter 2023 or something like that. So. So excuse me. This core ends soon, and I kind of want to see where it's going to end. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it all the same every week. Like I said, yours just the best. Watching her do it. Just fucking, again, I say this every week. Cloverworks and Wit, man. That is a match made in heaven when it comes to this fucking animation. Because when she was teaching her how to throw the ball and she was playing her hips, it felt like it was fucking motion captured. It was so good. It was so clean. It was just so clean.
Then we also look at the dynamic framing that they did for Anya. When she did the same thing when she emulated it. Like they went from her ankle and her foot, and then all the way up to the leg, and then went back to the foot to show the twist.
Yep.
And then she go ahead and throw the ball and go spike it straight to the ground.
Totally forget to let it go.
They did great moments with raising that intensity.
Yeah.
Like this is about to be an intense moment. Yeah. To being 0.
Did you think she was about to fuck him up? I did.
Oh, bro, I was like, they gave us the Frieza death ball scene on Planet Namek. I'm thinking like, oh yeah, she about to go off. She about to hit dude with the super Hajime no Ippo punch, but it's gonna be a dodgeball. Yeah. And she spiked that boy right into the ground. I was like, what just happened?
I'm like,
he went boop. Just like, I was like, oh, it's too good.
It was great. It was just so good. Yeah, I enjoy it. I'm looking forward to next week. I can't wait because again, this show's pacing is just, it does everything so well when it comes to that aspect of it. So I can't wait to see exactly what it's going to do with the next week. So I'm looking forward to it for sure. All right. On to what we on to next?
Episode 9. Tomodachi, not episode 9 of the Summertime Rendering.
Yeah, bro. What the fuck, man? Unbelievable. So how we about to get 25 of this?
When the chef goes into the anime kitchen, he be like, all right, I'm gonna take some of this greatness.
Yeah.
The greatness is like a little bit of salt. I'm gonna take some of this amazingness, and I'd be like the pepper.
Tell him.
And then he like, I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of this in there, be like a little bit of garlic powder, and be like, that's just a bomb ass steak right there. That's all it is. That's a Wagyu A5 right there. They keep giving us heat, but it's like the thing is, it's like it's not like it's an action packed episode. It's just information packed. It's the flashback felt meaningful, and the things we see in this anime episode was crazy.
We always talk about the knowledge, the way we gain knowledge, right? Like. The way we learn about stuff in the show, they always answer your questions, but you always have more questions, right? Like the fucking, again, the flashback. We started off, we picked up where the show left off last week, and it was her going into the phone, and then we see that her shadow knew about her, and her knew about her shadow. So it's kind of weird to talk about, but like the fact that they knew about each other and they slowly start to develop a relationship between each other, which is weird to say, was so fucking fire. And to know that Ushio, the Shadow, has this fucking sick ass skill. Ugh. Unbelievable, man.
Yep.
I think the Shiori shit was so fucking sad. That shit killed me, bro. I'm like, yo, what the fuck, man? This little poor little girl.
That whole scenario, like how, so basically we get to the point, they're on the beach and we find out that Ushio's shadow can do like a replay of the past, only things that she's seen, right? Mm-hmm. And we're watching like the day unfold. And it's just crazy, bro, because like 1 minute everybody's there and they're leaving to help the little girl who hurt herself, and they're left with Shiori, and they're like, all of a sudden, where is Shiori? We have no idea where Shiori is, and everyone's sprinting to go save Shiori, but you know, Ushio's shadow is just faster, and she obviously no.
Ushio is just faster because Ushio's shadow is the necklace at this time.
Oh yeah, Ushio is just faster. And they get into the water to save her, and they go in and you know, Ushio doing it, and the shadow comes out, and the hair cutting thing was like dope because she says it, and it gave us great context, right? They were talking about like, because Ryosuke, what was her name? Hizuru, the main girl, the black hair.
Yep.
She was talking about how like the shadow is there, but the body is just a sack of meat meant to like deter you from what's going on. Whereas Ushio sees it different. She said that the body is there to protect the shadow, right? And I was like, that's dope to look at it, because Ushio was like, I can use the whole body as a weapon.
Yep.
And she used that to fight against the shadow, and can, like, I guess supposedly use it against other stuff. But it's just a principle that like, that's new relevant information, like, and also the perspective of it. Right. That we got a human perspective, but we got the shadow perspective as well.
Now we understand why the other shadows call Ushio's shadow a traitor, and just fucking basically like, yo, what the hell? Like from moment, oh my god, it's so good. Oh god, it just hit my brain. It just hit my brain from the moment Mio was talking about you're with a traitor before we even knew Ushio existed. The Ushio shadow existed. Like, have you seen that traitor, or have you talked to that traitor or some shit like that? I think it was like early episode 3 or some shit like that. Something crazy. It just so good, man. It's so good. Again, this show, I said this a bunch of times before, this shit had to be written backwards, man. It had to. There's no fucking way you can be this.
Wrote the ending and said, all right.
Yeah, worked back from that. Like, there's no way you can have all this shit add up as well as it does and flow so brilliantly, because like now I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, now with this information we got about Ushio and her getting her memories back and her having her ability to do her shadow thing, now do we meet back up with Hizuru and then tell her the situation, or do they still stay separate and work the island cases separately? Now, I will say this before we move on and answer that question. The little shadowy Shiori bitch, fucking terrifying. I hate her.
Bro.
Hate her so much.
Did you see when she popped up in the water though?
Yes, man.
Monique was like, you said this wasn't scary. And I was like, it's a horror, but I didn't think it was scary. But that scene was a little had me shook for a second.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that, but it was the right kind of intensity, right? Because they use those same expanded like frames and faces for like the funny moments too, right?
Yeah.
But it also just amplified the fact that shit was not a joke right there.
Yeah. Well,
that was the end of somebody's life, 2 people's lives. Right.
Exactly. There. And then the fact that like when Mother took over the Shiori shadow and grabbed fucking Shinpei, like what's the name? Is it Shinpei? Okay. Like it was fucking Death Stranding, bro. I'm like, yo, what the this is Death Stranding the anime, man. Because now you got these shadows actually being able to touch people in visions.
Yeah.
What?
And that just means that like
Mother is just that powerful.
Yes, but also do we have to limit certain usages of things? Because now we know that we can see what Ushio's shadow saw. But do we limit that because does she have access to that vision as well?
Yep. Yeah, because mother is mother, right? Mother can it all makes sense. Mother is mother, so she has the ability to see the data that her shadows, her kids, her babies essentially can see. Now that she's like, now when she popped up and she grabbed a Shinpei, she's like, I'm not letting you get away this time. I feel like that was the kiss of death, if you will. I feel like that was something that
but
checkpoint maybe. Maybe.
Also, well, let's hope not, because that would be a horrible checkpoint.
I agree.
But also, let's look at the concept or the fact that she hasn't forgotten that she's seen him before.
Yeah, bro.
So she exists outside of time,
just like he do,
but still inside the time.
Fuck.
So it's like,
fuck the relativity, bro. I can't.
Sheesh, bro.
Oh my god,
this
so
anime
powerful.
is great.
It's great. It's absolutely great.
Summertime is almost here, and the name of it is Summertime Rendering. The rendering is almost done. It's almost summertime loaded. We just gotta hit play. I'm corny. Leave me alone.
It's 25 episodes of this shit. We only on episode 9, dog. I can't. This is one of the shows that I feel like it's necessary. I think it's necessary, and I think it's gonna be great all the way through. If this is gonna be the first 10 out of 10, 25 episode anime for Mic Check, might be, bro.
This, if it stays this good, this could easily be anime of the year. Straight up.
No questions asked. Straight up.
I mean, come on, bro. How the hell did we get so lucky to get shit like Vivi last year, 86 last year, and then we come to this year, we get Summertime Rendering, bro?
Tell them, bro.
Oh my god.
Tell them.
Yo, we lucky as hell.
Straight up.
And y'all unlucky if y'all skip this one.
Straight up. All right. So what? Quick gut check. Gut check. Jesus, my speeches. I'm starting to fade. It's only 11:47 and I'm tired. What the fuck? What do you think is coming up next for this episode?
So they got the people they know on each other's sides, right? In terms of what's next, I don't think they're going to expand their group. I think they're going to do what you said, try and talk to Hizuru and let her relay information. But I think they're going to stay separate. I think they're going to say like, hey, yo, this is what's happening. We trying to do this to meet at this point to stop this, right? But also probably trying to figure out what else Ushio knows within that. But I can't help but feel like there has to be a something that fucks with them. There has to be something that comes for them this time. Outside of the vision that they saw, outside of Mother, something is going to come for them. And I'm only saying that because this episode was very smooth in terms of like progression for understanding, right? And the last few episodes have been pretty smooth in terms of that kind of progression, pushing the story forward. But I feel like, especially with the introduction of Mother and the vision, something has to hit them in terms of action. Like something's gonna come to them before they can come to them, or before they can come to it.
Yeah, and I think Shinpei has to tell Hizuru about the Mother thing, the Mother situation. And from here, I think what's going to happen is we're going to get to the festival and shit's going to play out and it's going to fail catastrophically.
Like worse, but
yes, because of the connection that he made with Mother early on. I feel like it's going to be, when he gets there, he's going to be the key to set the shit off. And from that, from that contact from Mother, I think it's going to be like a fast forward situation where he gets there and he's trying to be quote unquote prepared for what's about to happen. But by him being there and by Mother giving him that mark of fucking death, the mark of, what do they call those things? BT, the mark of BT and Death Stranding. I think he's going to be the key to unlocking something.
What if?
And then that's going to be a reset.
What if they've, and this is what I find so fucking ridiculous, right? we know the shadows can turn into objects now.
Yeah, true.
Information that they didn't tell us, but they gave it to us, right? What if there's already a shadow there with them?
Interesting.
Waiting for the time that mother says, all right, let's get it done.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying specific like that, but I'm saying like,
Could be. No,
I'm saying like, what if they, like his friend, the guy that he's kept cool, that they brought into this, they could attach a shadow to him.
Yeah, somewhere.
And just be like, just hang out. Because like, we know that the shadows know everything that the people know, but they can be wary of the shadow. But if the shadow reduces its size like that to something like a necklace, that's crazy.
I know.
To think insane. That they could literally be anywhere.
It's insane to think about because we finally know that our characters know how to pick out a shadow now. So to throw a wrench in that knowledge, now we gotta worry about fucking objects. That's crazy to think about.
It's basically that Call of Duty game, but with shit that can actually kill you.
Yeah, prop hunt. Yeah, you're right. That's crazy. Crazy to think about. Or like the new prey. The new prey game. Yeah. They turn into shit too. All right. And let's go ahead and spoil this good old Tamagotchi game. Tamagotchi.
So I'm interested in your insight on this because it's a facade. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's all a facade. I feel like he done played everybody.
I feel like the same time, quote unquote, the same time that Group K won, quote unquote, is not when they won. It's when he won. And Group K think they won because they found him. What I'm thinking happened, okay, this is what I'm thinking happened in episode 10 of Tamagotchi game. I'm thinking that when he made, what's his name, switch sides. Oh, what did I have? I had it. My brain is so fucking tired. I think I might have lost it. When he had him switch sides, there was something he did that got one of the other guys to commit violence on him. I'm thinking he either got punched by the dude who was what do you call him? He called him melancholy or the pretender, the actor. I'm thinking he did something to him that got him to actually hit our guy, and they lost at the same time that he found him. I don't know what that thing is yet. I haven't thought about it, but I don't think Group C lost. I think Group K lost, and they don't realize it yet. Because if you notice, at the end of the game, he never said. He said the game is over, blah blah blah, but he never said who won. And the winner is, and they blue balled us.
Then he gave us the smile,
the evil smile. So I'm thinking it's our Group C, and that's how I'm thinking he won. He got them to commit violence. Either that or maybe that was her goal the entire time, like to get him to make
like she had a side rule that if they asked her to switch sides, then they would win. Yep. He'd win.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. What you got?
I'm thinking because there's a rule that you can't move the hider.
Okay. So
the person who's hiding can't move. And he probably got tired of being manipulated and moved, right? Like had something happen where, because no one knows where he is but the captain dude, the actual captain. So I'm thinking maybe he got tired of being like manipulated, and he probably heard some of the shit that was said somehow and came through. I'm not sure, bro. I'm not sure.
Yeah, this was hard.
It's so many different things. They done a good job. Like I know I was down on this anime in the beginning for sure, but like this episode, the previous episodes, they did a good job at establishing that we don't know what the fuck's gonna happen, bro. We don't know.
And what's crazy is that once we do know, they do a very good job of explaining how and when it happened, and that is 90% of the show. Being able to explain how and when it happened in a manner that's believable is what makes the show good. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna say great, okay, because again, the show is ugly to look at. Some of the writing is awful. It's just, I'm gonna just say it, it's awful. But
like, why put a manager in the game?
Yeah, like, but there's quite a bit of intrigue with how our main character thinks in this process, and I love that. I love how anime can give you shit that's like, well, we don't know shit until the main character knows it. I love that, but I also love when we don't know anything because only the main character knows, and this is why. Like, i.e. L from, or Light from Death, what right. I'm trying to get at. It's like those type of characters who just are on their shit, and then they can explain it, and it reveals some dope shit. I'm hoping they didn't lose. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hear me out though. I think that personally, there's I have two different train of thoughts, because if they did lose, they could make it like, they could make it so like the loss happens in a specific manner, right? Mm-hmm. Because first of all, we know our main dude is not gonna have that. He's not acting like that. He not acting like that.
No.
So that's why I feel like it's a facade, right? Because that's what they wanted to see.
Yep. Like him telling her where he was. Like, he would never do that shit unless it was for a reason.
Yeah, and you could tell immediately he knew what was up. He would never tell her where he was. Mm-hmm. So if he did tell her where he was, it was because he already had everything he needed.
Yep, it was already
to
done.
Win.
Whew.
Yeah,
it's heat. It's like
so. I have no idea what's happening next, bro. They gonna say he won, but I just need the explanation. I need to know how.
Me too.
I need to know what happened.
I have seen nothing that even a slight hint. So whatever they tell us, I'm gonna try to go back to see if I can find it again, like I did with the name tags. But I don't know if I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it, because I have no fucking idea. And I've been watching closely. I've been making sure every time they had a bunch of shit on the screen that was like words with as far as rules go, I make sure to pause it and read the rules to try to see if I can find out before we knew. Mm-hmm. I got nothing. I'm thinking it's the violence thing because they kept harkening on that particular rule. So that's why I'm assuming it's that. And
that's why I think it might be the move,
because they didn't
move
talk
the
about
hider thing, because they didn't talk about it that much, right?
That's a good one.
And how do you move the hider? It could be multiple different reasons the hider might move.
Yeah, he could just be. Oh, I got it.
We know he wasn't starving.
He is a big oaf, so he could just be like, I gotta go piss, or something stupid like that. Like, Who knows? Who knows? Who fucking knows? All I know is episode 56 was a great one.
Yeah,
that's a wrap.
So we just finished talking about Tomodachi Game episode 10. Let us know what you think is gonna happen next. Summertime Render episode 9, another banger. This season might be just 10 out of 10. Spy Family episode 10. Great wholesome anime episode. A lot of really cool references. Let us know what y'all thought about it. We had another break. Polo hit us with some Teflon last week. Let's see what he hit us with this time. Get to know my check waifu. What's your anime warning label?
That wasn't Teflon last week.
It wasn't Teflon? The week before that. But what's your anime warning label? Ours is kind of funny. You know what it is. We finished talking about Overlord Season 1 rewatch. Next week, come back and see us for Overlord Season 2. Share your thoughts with us. Our episode of the week was Summertime Rendering, because it's just that good every single time. Diablo Immortals versus Diablo 4 and Sonic Frontiers thoughts. Let us know what you think about games. We're bringing that to the after story, and that's been episode 156 of Mike Check Waifu.
I'm at Polo Born Fly on all social media.
I'm at King Teliano on all social media.
You can follow our social media at Mike Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mike Check Waifu on Instagram. And as always, Mike Check.
I went to go drink my water again. It was empty.
You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu.